Greene King, Old Crafty Hen.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Work is done for the day, thank fuck. And it's time for a beer. And as I said in a few of my videos, I don't know what order these are going to go up. You may have heard this, you may have not have. I'm rapidly running out of beer in ye olde beer fridge. So I'm scraping the barrel here. And I tried 2 Greene King beers last night, or I reviewed them last night. But now I'm on this stuff, Golden Hen, or Old Golden Hen. I thought I'd reviewed it, but I hadn't. And I don't know how that I ended up with this. Did I even buy it? I can't remember where this came from. Was it given to me? Oh, that's right, yeah. It came in, it was a birthday present. It was in a box. And yeah, it's all coming back to me now. This happens when you get older. So if you put it this way, if you're younger than 50, you've got all this to come. All right. But this was part of a box. It was a Greene King selection box, and I got this for my birthday, and I was actually quite pleased with it because it was in a box. All the beers in the box were in clear bottles, which fucking winds me up. But luckily, as it was in a box, the beer was protected from the light. And I've been doing my best to try and keep these beers out of the light. So far, none of them have been skunky. But the only reason for that is because they was in a box. If they're on a supermarket shelf, you're really playing Russian roulette. More than likely, you're going to get a skunky bottle. I have certainly got it in the past. That's why I reviewed Old Speckled Hen twice. First from a bottle, which was pretty disgusting. Second time from a can. Believe me, it does make a difference. And as I say, I've been trying to keep this out of the light. And hopefully the light of the fridge hasn't turned it off, because every time I open the fridge, the light obviously goes on, and this is exposed to the light. So who knows what could have happened to it. Quick bit about the brewery. Obviously this is Greene King, but it never used to be Greene King. Greene King took over the Moreland Brewery in 2000. Now they were brewing this, or they had the recipes for it. They were brewing it. Same with Old Speckled Hen. That came from Moreland, as did, I think, the Old Crafty Hen. I'm not sure whether that's a new one. Certainly it's got the Moreland cap on it. But Moreland are a really old brewery. They're based in a place called Abingdon in Oxfordshire, which you may remember as being, not the centre, but a big car manufacturing region of the United Kingdom. They also had a brewery there, and it's in Oxfordshire. And Greene King took over in 2000, but that actual Moreland brewery goes back to 1711. So, you know, it really was an old brewery, and it took over a few breweries, notably the Eagle Brewery, and they renamed themselves to United Breweries, and then they changed it back to Moreland. And Moreland still remains on the bottle and on the label. Now, I don't know why Greene King do this, but they took over quite a few breweries. They certainly took over one up in Scotland. I can't remember the name of it now. It's an old Scottish, I think it's the oldest Scottish brewery. They took them over, but they still kept the name of the brewery on the bottles, even though everything is brewed in Bury St Edmunds, which is where Greene King are based. And the Moreland stuff, again, that has got its own label. And there's another one that escapes me at the moment, and they've managed to keep the old brewery name. They don't rebrand it as Greene King. I'm not sure why they do that. Bit strange, but obviously Greene King are massive. They're one of the biggest brewers in Britain. Certainly they own a hell of a lot of pubs. Not sure on the exact amount. I don't know whether Shepherd Neame or Marston's own more, but they're pretty big, believe me. If you're up in the Suffolk or sometimes even Norfolk region and all the way down the southeast, you are bound to be not too far away from a Greene King pub. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the beer. Okay, 500ml bottle, 4.1% in a clear fucking bottle, you bastards. Especially with light coloured beer. Light coloured beer is renowned for going skunky, even quicker than darker coloured beer. They all go skunky eventually, but in a clear bottle with light coloured beer, you're just asking for trouble. They've got this down as refreshing craft beer. And is it craft beer? No, it's not. I don't know why they put that there. And again, you know, if you look on the cap, if you can see that, there's the Moorland logo on there. You've got Moorland on the front of the label. I'm sure you must have seen these before, but you know, there's the Moorland. Some fella in a tricorn hat. Don't know who he is. This has got reasonably interesting descriptions on the label. It says aroma, tropical notes of grapefruit and mango. Taste, tropical fruits and malt sweetness with a crisp finish. Old Golden Hen captures a celestial ray of sunshine in the form of rare and very special Tasmanian hop called Galaxy. Yeah, that's right. I always thought Galaxy was a New Zealand hop, but actually it's an Australian hop from Tasmania. The result is a triumph of its sheer powers of refreshment, malty sweetness and a hint of tropical fruit and a clean finish out of this world. Righto. The malts in this are pale and amber. So the base malt is pale. They've added amber malt on that to give it a little bit of a golden colour, as you can see. The hops, as they say, there is Galaxy hops in there. Galaxy hops are quite fruity. They contain passion fruit. They also contain some citrus qualities to them as well. There's Fuggles in there, which, you know, trying to describe Fuggles hops is a bit of an anomaly because it all depends on the temperature that they throw them in at. You know, if it goes all the way through the boil, then it releases certain flavours. If it's a late addition, it releases slightly different flavours. But they're usually quite similar to the Hallertauer stroke German noble hops, earthy and spicy. They're the three. The earthy and spicy are the two main characteristics of that hop. But there's other flavours that can be released and aromas as well that can be released depending on the temperature and when it's added to the boil. They've also put Willamette hops in this as well, and Willamette hops, again, they contain a vast array of flavours, floral, spicy, earthy, etc. I mean, it's basically the full range of hop flavour is included in the Willamette, and it's quite a unique sort of hop. You don't see it that often in beers. It's not one of the most common. You tend to see it more in American style beers than British style beers, but that's one of them things there. It does turn up every now and again. So with that in mind, let's crack this beer open and see what's going on. Now, one thing I will point out is that Greene King beers, and I mentioned this yesterday in both reviews, Greene King beers seem to have a distinct taste that comes from their yeast, and I've picked it up in all the Speckled Hen, Greene King IPA, the Old Bob, basically every Greene King beer that I've tried. It's got this flavour, and I can only describe it as sort of a honey and vanilla type flavour, quite sweet as well. Honey and vanilla is sort of stretching it, but that's the only thing I can liken it to. But it is there in all their beers, and if you're not a fan of that, you're not going to like any Greene King beers. I don't mind it. It's not the worst flavour in the world, but I think they're using the same strain of yeast for every single beer, and that's just dominating in it. But anyway, I could be wrong on this. So I don't think I've had this before. I've had the Crafty Hen, not the Golden Hen. Anyway, there it is. There is the cap. I'll make that into ye olde collection. Let's get some into the glass. Now, it's not skunky. Normally, when I opened up a bottle of old speckled hen from fucking Skunk Central round the corner, that really did smell nasty when I opened the bottle straight away. What are we getting on this? Again, that yeasty aroma that comes straight from Greene King beers. It's like a sweet floral honey, if you can imagine that. And again, you know, as I say, it's not too bad, but that's dominant. That's the first thing that hits you. In this one, there tends to be a bit more bitterness and earthiness to it, which I'm not surprised because of all the hops that are in there, or the hop types that are in there. But there's a definite floral note to that, like leaves, green leaves, if you can imagine that. A spice, not a spicy, like definitely herbal. And then on top of that, you've got that sweet vanilla, yeasty goodness, which combined with the malt, it's not too bad. I have smelt a hell of a lot worse, certainly when this hasn't been kept out of the light. It's not bad, I have to say. It doesn't smell too bad. Now, of course, that's been filtered. As you can see, it's clear. There's no residue in there whatsoever. So I'm just not even going to bother swilling that about. I will just pour that in there. Now, there's no description of it. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming, and this is a big fucking assumption because they've not said, they've called it Old Golden Hen. I'm going to presume it's a golden ale, a British type golden ale, unless I find out otherwise. Oh, what's this award?
Award! Award!
Yes,
award!
Father.
Award!
Yes,
Award!
Father.
Award!
Yes,
Award!
Father.
Award!
Yes,
Award!
Father.
There you are. Right.
Wonder Selection 2014. Wonder. What a fucking dig. Mond Selection. So it's won gold. I'm always aware about these awards. I reviewed the Kestrel Lager. If you haven't seen it, watch my review on the Kestrel Lager. I mentioned an award and I thought, fucking hell, Kestrel's got an award. They must have changed the recipe because it tasted like shit. But it wasn't. You had to pay for this award. It was such a con. You basically give them 1,500 quid and they give you an award you can stick on your fucking can to make it look like it's award winning. You just think, well, fucking anyone can get an award if you pay them 1,500 quid. Oh dear. Anyway, relax. Have a beer. Bottoms up. It tastes like a Greene King beer. Biscuit malt finish. Sweet honey, vanilla, slight earth, and there's some herbal notes, and a little bit of spiciness on the finish. It's pretty much similar to the Greene King IPA, quite similar to the East Coast IPA. Now they do an East Coast IPA, would you believe, which is nothing like an American East Coast IPA. It doesn't taste that bad actually, but this tastes very similar indeed. We'll dive in again. There's a very slight bitterness on the finish. So it's a mixture between bittersweet. That yeast strain, as I say, I know I keep going on about it, but that dominates, and it dominates in all their beers. I'm just saying this is what I get. You may get something completely different, but if you want a little challenge or a little experiment, you don't take my word for it. If you get one of them boxes of Greene King beers, they're not bad. If you like your British beers, they're not outstanding. But if you get one of them boxes and just drink one after the other, or even if you want, just fill them all out and take a sip of each one, you will see there's a common theme running through every single one of them. And that theme is that sweet vanilla honey type flavour. And then you've got very, very slight deviations among all of them with whatever hops they've put in there, because the hops do make a difference, obviously. But the dominant thing is the yeast, and it's the same in this one as well. But it makes for reasonably drinkable beer. Nothing special, but you've got to be really careful with the bottles, because, as I say, you're really taking a chance with a clear bottle. I mean, this could taste like Satan's shit if that was left out underneath a light for a week or so. You would open that, it would stink, you wouldn't get any of this flavour, you would just get harsh bitterness, skunky, almost like stewed leaves type flavour, and of course a horrible smell. And that's sad, because that's easily avoidable, but they just don't fucking bother. I don't know why they do it. The only thing I can think of is two things. They're trying to appeal to the lager drinker. If they see that, they're going to think, oh, this might taste like lager, let's buy it. Or they're taking you and me for absolute mugs and think we have to see the beer before we buy it, which is just absolute fucking nonsense. What about cans? It's like, come on, man. Fucking hell. You know, when this COVID shit is over, I'm going to start doing more brewery tours, and I'm going to go to Greene King, I'm going to go to Shepherd Neame, and I'm just going to ask them why they put the beer in clear glasses. Now, I have heard, clear glasses, clear bottles, I have heard that they've come up with hops that are resistant to, or they don't react with the light. But if you've done that, you may have done something to the flavour. So I'm always wary about that. But that's just me. Anyway, let's get back to this beer. It's nice. It's relatively sweet. Perfectly drinkable. Yeah, just okay. Like all Greene King beers, just okay. Drinkable, relatively cheap, £1.63. Not bad. So what's the verdict on old Golden Hen? Yeah, quite easy drinking, typical Greene King flavour. Nothing to really make it outstanding. Relatively cheap, but you've got to be careful where you buy it from. My advice to you would be to either get this in a can or to get it in one of them boxes. They do cardboard selection boxes. Get it in one of them. If you buy it off the supermarket shelf, all bets are off. This review, you might as well not even watch it, because you could be drinking it and you could say, well, I'm not getting any of them flavours. He doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. Believe me, I do. And I do not recommend buying this off the shelf in a supermarket, or any bottle that is clear or even green. Don't buy it. It does affect the flavour. I know, I've tried it. Just look at some of the videos on here. There's quite a few where I've opened it up and it's been skunked. The original Old Speckled Hen, the Peroni lager are two that really stand out. But there's others as well. And the annoying thing is, it's so easily avoidable. But as far as this beer goes, run of the mill Greene King. I'm going to give it, like I did with all of them, relatively cheap, nicely drinkable. But with this clear bottle in the equation, I'm going to take marks off for that. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, like I have done with all three Greene King beers. The Old Speckled Hen was slightly nicer. I found it a slight variation on that, a bit more caramel malt. But again, that sweetness, that honey sweetness in it, that got a little bit more of a mark. But they're all much of a muchness, really. If you drank that, you drank the EPA. If you even the Greene King IPA, very, very similar, in my opinion, anyway. And remember, beer is working class champagne.